discussing the audition or the sensory hearing. The sensory hearing is possible because it contains the physiology of our ear, which includes the region of the outer ear, the inner ear, the middle ear, as well as the neural processing along pathways to the brain. Now, let's go over to how we are able to hear sounds. How is sound transmitted to our ear and then to our brain? So first, when sounds are created, it emits sound waves. Now, these sound waves, when they enter the outer ear, well, we have here the structure of the pinna, which amplifies and directs sound into the ear. So this pinna is the structure of the outer ear. This amplifies and directs the sound to the external auditory canal, which is located right here, which is also a part of the outer ear. Now, once the sound waves travels across the external auditory canal, it reaches the tympanic membrane, which is a membrane separating the middle ear and the outer ear. Now, once the sound wave reaches the tympanic membrane, it causes the tympanic membrane to vibrate. Now, after the vibration of the tympanic membrane, this tympanic membrane vibrations is transmitted to the middle ear, causing the three middle bones, which are the malleus, the index, and the stapes, to move. So, the DNT here, these are the three middle bones. These middle bones are very important in transmitting the sound waves to the inner ear. What they do is they couple the vibrations from the tympanic membrane and they concentrate into the oval window, which is a membrane separating the inner ear and the middle ear. So they are very instrumental in transmitting the sound waves from the middle ears to the inner ear. Now, we mentioned the oval window. The oval window the scale of the stimuli starts at the oval window. But before that, let's talk about the sensory tympanic muscle and the stapedius. So these are two muscles that are actually very important because they are connected to the malleus and the stapes respectively, and they act as protective muscles in protecting the receptor cells in the inner ear. So what they do is they dampen the movement and they control the mobility of these bones in order to protect the very delicate receptors in the inner ear. So, when we open it out, so what is the malleus, the acres, and the stapes, they concentrate the sound waves to the oval window, which is a membrane separating the inner ear and the middle ear. So the oval window is actually the beginning of this, what we call the scale of the stimuli, which is located right here, just above the cochlear duct. So from the oval window, sound waves are transmitted into the cochlea, specifically in the scale of the stimuli, which begins at the oval window. And because of the pressure that begins in the oval window, it creates pressure waves in the scale of the stimuli. And these pressure waves in the scale of the stimuli, they travel on only two pathways in which they dissipate in the inner ear. So these two pathways are first through the halobacema around the cochlear duct. So if you can see here, many lines of that, as this is the first pathway through the halobacema, which is located right here. So they go around the cochlear duct and then through to the scale tympani to the round window, which we dissipate. And the second pathway is the only pathway that actually activates the receptor cells in the organ of the cornea located at the basilar membrane of the cochlear duct. So, how does this happen? This happens when the pressure waves actually cross directly to the cochlear duct, to the scale tympani. So the pressure waves cross the cochlear duct. This causes vibration in the basilar membrane of the cochlear duct. And note that the basilar membrane is where the organ of cornea is situated. And the organ of cornea has the receptor cells for hearing. So now, as mentioned kanina, once we vibrate down the basilar membrane, it activates the receptors. So many receptors. So these are our hair cells. They are the primary receptors of the organ of cornea. So this is where the mechanism of the receptors happens. So next slide. As you can see here, now two types of hair cells. We have the thinner cell, head cell, and the outer hair cells. There's 3 rows, so it's a 1 row. So primarily they're the thinner hair cells only have a focus. So most of them are composed of what we call the spherocilia. These are their hair-like projections, head cells. Inner hair cells, it is intended to accumulate fluid instead of to get the shot. While sa spherocilia, sa outer hair cell, it is embedded in our dentorial membrane siya. So next, right. So here is the moving version sa inner ear cell. So as you can see here, one of the cilia, and this long cilia has a special name called tenosylia. So may once na activate na hair cells, right? So mag-move ang endoless fluid. So once mag-move na siya, it causes these cilia na mag-bend siya going toward tenosylia, which is the longest hair cell, right? So once that happens, managing legs mag-stretch na siya. So sa managing legs, muna siya ang connections sa channels, sa different channels ng cilia. So once ma-stretch na siya, it opens our mechanically gain ion channels where dahil usulod ang akong potassium ion. So may potassium ions kaya di tayo sa to and then inclusion because it is rich of potassium ion. So once that goes inside, so na siya diri, so mag-cause na yun siya of depolarization. So discuss na mga siya, right? So once that depolarization happens, pag-cause na yun siya na ma-open ato ang voltage gated channel for the calcium para makasulod siya sa ato step. So once that these ions enter the cell, kay mas-cause siya fusion sa atong vesicles. So kani siya ang atong vesicles. So once that fuses, mag-release na yun siya of neurotransmitter which we call glutamate. So once ma-release niya siya, it goes through our vestibulocochlear nerve, so cochlear branch of cochlear nerve, where it's composed of afferent neurons. So, di ba, afferent neurons is only those signals na the perceive from the body towards our brain. So, once that happens, it increases the action potential. So, once that increases the action potential, we proceed siya sa atong brain stem. So, again, the louder ang sound, okay, the more I mas greater po ang anong action potential. So, pagkaman na yung side. So, if ang direction sa movement and the fluid, di ba ay tulong mo sa kinosilyo. Pero let's also kung away siya sa atong kinosilyo, kaya away siya, it causes these channels to close. So once that happens, mag-hyperpolarize. Meaning, once mag-close siya, so wala yung action potential na yung mag-close. So, now let's move on to the next one. This fundamental conference in information channels through polysynaptic pathway. So, multiple synapses are involved. So, how are these multiple synapses act? So, take a look at wala siya sa kung describe lang siyang yung sa niya, yung sa signal information sa training flight. Time. Materials, sige. Concern ng makokuya. If you can see here, maling purple is a analysis. These are your cochlear fibers that carry your sound signals. So, when travel siya, yung cochlear ng VI which is the first central processing station, which is divided into two, the dorsal cochlear nucleus and the metacochlear nucleus. These are responsible for processes in frequency and on membrane idea coordination, respectively. So next we have the superior olivary complex. So this is the first cycle of binaural processing, which is the comparison of input from both ears and interpreting and providing information, which I will be given an example later. So superior olivary complex kay focus niya kay sound localization. We also have the lateral then is close in the brainstem tract. It carries auditory signals upwards, so where's the range, and then we have the inferior auditory in the mid range, which is responsible for reflexes. For example, bending your head towards the sound source. If reading with the dog like it's ready to let out. Okay, so we have the medial denominated body, the thalamus, which is this thalamic relay that delivers to the cerebral cortex, which refines sound and properties. So we're here now sa auditory cortex and corners therein. So auditory cortex receives pitch, volume, and height. And then what else? Where is it located? There's a corners underneath. So that's the parallel, that's We also have the secondary and association areas in the auditarios.